Nathan Cox, thanks for joining us around the home. Okay, let's take the next 10 minutes and I'll talk about what I've done this week. What? You want me to just get along with the video? Gosh. All right, so here we go. Let's get on to it for reals. Talking about the problems with mosaic tiles. Mosaic tiles, a lot of them can be very, very beautiful designs. And it's really just any kind of a pattern of tile that's not just like one tile, you know. And they typically always come on a mesh sheet. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. So let's open this up. And I'll show you. This is one I'm going to do in my own kitchen here as soon as I get the time. It's kind of getting like a full remodel. All right, so if you can see in the camera, okay, see the mesh, and that's what's holding these together. That's what keeps the pattern, all right? So it's kind of equivalent to a 12-inch by 12-inch tiles, how most of these come. They almost always come on a sheet about that size. And there are different sheets and different qualities. So let's talk about that first. Now, this is a very typical sheet of mesh here. This is what you're gonna find on most of them. I have some that I got from Tile Store once. I actually had the sheet on top, which was weird. And you would after you stuck it to the wall, then you would peel that off. And so there was like no mesh whatsoever or plastic membrane when you were done. And it kind of worked okay. I will tell you, it's a bit different to work with, and I did have a defective batch, so they were just falling apart left and right. Not cool. And then my most recent project, a 110-year-old bathroom, I haven't had enough problems with this thing, and it's just a very standard white hexagonal tiles. Here's a picture of the floor. And the mesh, for whatever reason, and the box set on it, it was more a green building product. So I don't know if that's why. It was water soluble, okay? So these things here, you really gotta cut with a wet saw. So wet saw, water soluble glue on the mesh. Yeah, that means just one cut down to cut the edge off to make it square. Because to start this off, you gotta have at least square edge, right? You gotta at least make that first cut. And I set it to the side so it could kind of set up or dry. I don't know any wet tiles anyway. And then I noticed I lifted it up and then the tile fell off. I was like, what? You know, and then I had one where I had a cut here and then there. Very, very quick cuts, just straight down one side, straight down the other side. And I'm like, okay, there's something wrong here. This is not liking the water. And I put it down on some cardboard. First I let it drip, real quick, and then put down some cardboard so it could dry and they would absorb it. I picked it up and 6 tiles fell off. Okay, so I'm literally taking Elmer's wood glue, and after it dries, so I gotta wait a whole day, and after all the sheets that I cut, and I'm gluing the tiles back in place because I'm losing 6, 7 a sheet, and I'm I really don't want to. I mean, I could set them all by hand, but it kind of defeats the purpose. So just know that you could get into some issues when installing these mosaic tiles, I'm afraid to say. Now this one here, I'm really hoping I don't. I don't remember it saying anything about a special green building product. And then there's a lot of quality differences too. So I'm gonna talk about quality of the product too, okay? Because I've done a lot of backsplashes over the last couple years. Worked alongside granite companies, and I was the guy that came in and helped tear out the old tops and the plumbing and then put it back together. Then if the customers wanted the tile backsplash, I was the guy that did that. So I was dropping them in left and right. And I found that which country it comes from really makes a difference. And it has nothing to do with prejudice against countries. It has to do with quality of manufacturing. What level of manufacturing does that country have the capability of doing? It's really simple, is all it boils down to. The tiles that I was having problems with came from Chile, okay? So I find anything that comes from Chile, comes from Turkey. I know there's another country like that. I found that they were terrible. They looked pretty. I actually had a customer almost cry on me because it's like, it took so long for us to find. I had to tear, I got like a third of the backsplash done. So I had to rip all that tile off, and it ended up being from Home Depot, I believe. But it's not just a Home Depot thing. Lowe's definitely has those same quality tiles that are coming from places, like I said, like Chile and Turkey and stuff like that. So I literally, as an installer, have had to tell my customers, look, like the big box stores are getting a lot of these cheap tiles in, and I absolutely refuse to put them in. I'm sorry, but not sorry, because I'm not going to put them in and then rip them off. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a couple tips on cutting the mosaics. I'm not actually going to cut this. I'm not showing you in a specific project. When I do get the chance to do my own backsplash, I will show you specifically me cutting for my backsplash. But it's raining outside right now, so I'm just in my garage, just trying to make a video to help you guys out. All right. So since this is on a sheet and you've got like 30 separate pieces here, you don't want to you can't use just a regular tile like with the hand tile cutters. You really need a wet saw, and you really need a wet saw that has a sliding tray on it. Okay, your lesser expensive wet saws or kind of like a table saw where it just has the blade coming out from it, and then you have to push it across. And because this is on a mesh, these they do move. Okay, they move. So when you're cutting them and you're trying to push it across a table, slide it across the table while the blade's there, they're going to end up like shifting, and then your cut line is going to not look good. So even though I don't cut large tiles, I spent the extra money to get a good tile saw with a good sliding tray here. That way you can line it up, and then you're going to hold it, you got to hold it on both sides, all these little pieces, and just continue to cut slowly through them, because they will, they'll pop up as you're cutting, so you got to hold them down the best you can. Mosaics, they're not the easiest tile to set, but I don't want to scare everyone out there, because as long as your mesh sheet isn't falling apart and dissolving in the water, and you have a good saw where you can cut it on there, you can definitely put these down and they will look absolutely stunning. But you just have to know these few extra things about them. And then like some people will say, well, if I'm doing this on a backsplash, what about outlets and crap like that? Because I can't, yeah, you're right, you can't. So what you do is you're gonna take yourself a utility knife, okay, and depending on how the outlet falls, you might even have to just split the row here. Like say the outlet was like right here, like split it like right above or right below the outlet, so you can turn this into 2 sheets, and then you can kind of cut the outlet out, and then when you put it on there, you're going to have an upper and a lower sheet. But there's definitely times where you're going to have to just cut tiles out and then cut some of these little ones individually by hand, and then set them individually by hand. So anytime you have odd things to cut around, outlet boxes, switch plates, or just other pieces of trim or molding maybe you have to cut around, windowsills, you will end up having just to cut some of these out and cut them by hand. So I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope it helped you guys learn a few things about mosaics before you jump into a project using Mosaic Tile. Now I know I didn't physically actually cut the tile here, but this is not a how to cut and install Mosaic Tile video. It's just an informational video, that's all it is. But I do certainly hope all of you all the best of luck on your projects, okay? Keep them on. You guys want to tell me about your projects in the comments. You want to ask questions. I answer questions all the time. Other than that, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Always putting out new content. Check out our website, and there's another video for you guys to enjoy. Thanks again.